Yo, I think we need to do this differently, very much differently. And what going on is that people really do recognize how bad things really are in many aspects. And what going on? Let me just get this straight to the point, because real people not realizing how bad Trinidad is right now. Now, what's going on? What's really going on? Earlier this week, that was what? As in Monday the 14th, you all realize simultaneously how much negative things transpired in Trinidad and Tobago. And the thing about it, it seems very much so like people wanted to forget these things. And this is very dangerous, because the mental health of plenty of people getting affected. And some people not thinking about it, some people thinking about it. And what's going on right now is that on Monday, we had raids that was done by the TTPS. Other than that also, we had robberies that transpired. Other than that also, we saw contract awardance. Other than that also, we saw a so-called crime fighter claiming that he did not know situations that was occurring. But this time, one of the people that was implicated in the situation is your very good friend. Other than that also, the same crime fighter is going to be awarded a TV license soon. And other than that also, Guyana lost oil for hours, shutting down the nation conveniently. These are all things that happened in a 1-day period. Furthermore, how it is that a raid was made in a fishing village. It had no radar this time. It had no radar this time at all. And then furthermore, what also transpired is that the person who was the head of the PSB seems to be getting a lot of information about cocaine contraband coming from, have to stop, from Central America. Let's continue now. Right, so all this information that you're getting and stuff of that nature, I distinctly remember one thing happening a few months ago, and it really shocked real people. So the person now is the Minister of Homeland Security. His own words were, I have a Syrian friend, real nice chap. He told me he imports a lot of contraband. And I look at him and tell him, what go do, boy? He's my partner, and everybody has to be in business, right? There's no hearsay, there's the words about now minister. So if that don't shock you, that is what. So check this in. What is the coincidence? What is the coincidence that all of a sudden raids start happening from South Trinidad over the waters? Other than that also, you could do your statistics, you could say what you want, you could get scared, you might want to do research, but check this. If we have crime going on in Trinidad and Tobago, and everybody pointing the fingers of who bringing in the firearms, you don't find it interesting that we had more than 20 shootouts with Venezuelans in South Trinidad? I'll just sit down and just ponder that. There's a man called Douglas was highlighting something in a video, and he was saying all them Venezuelans are known by those people who renting premises and stuff. Within that, what going on is that all them people that renting is Venezuelans from a certain area. And Douglas was highlighting in his video how certain ministers know about it, because they're paying certain people to be their concubines on both sides of the fence. So what's interesting about that is, in Trinidad and Tobago, we tolerate a lot. But there's a lot of people tolerating right now because they need money to survive. So when people in business, you think they'll tell you the truth of things that transpire? Some things are blatant lies, and they try to cover it over to make them all be in denial. Now, the thing about it also, what happens is that to create good optics, you have to make things look good. You literally have to make things look good to get into the algorithm, as you should. So when this small man was bullied in school, how it is that the racist government minister, who is also name calling in awarding his own government minister friend with $1 billion contract, who already owes $300 million to EMBD. How it is he just reached on the scene to buy a pair of Jordans, Air Force Ones, along with ringleader. Sorry, I wasn't supposed to call anybody name, but most people realize how mad that the boy's mother was, because all they was looking for is good photo ops. It really shocks you that optics is more important than being truthful. And this is going on so much. And let me get back now to the mental health reasons why this is disturbing, what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago. When I was on the live last night, I distinctly remember that. You see, this man who holds 3 positions in Trinidad and Tobago has no experience, suffers from godlessness. And the reason I could say that, because there were multiple statements he make about God, but he's the man who married to a man. Notice I'm not calling names on purpose. You're supposed to know what I'm talking about. What's going on? Very interesting in Trinidad and Tobago. For a little while now, is that people tolerating so much is coming like second nature. If you're seeing wrong being done, do you know you are being opposed now for speaking the truth about situations going on in our own land? You are being victimized for speaking the truth about corruption and negativity. And what's going on is that people think this is normal, how Trinidad has become easily. You know what's very dangerous about that? I think it was in Ohio when the man was shot in his back and he did not even pull his weapon. But you see, suppression and oppression, that's what dictatorship does to a nation. Do you all, or how are you all feeling, knowing that there are certain things that you want to change and can't speak of, and those that speak the truth about it getting incarcerated, and after 7 to 9 days get charges brought up? You all think this is normal in some format? I'm telling you it's not. From since I've been growing, I'm 46 years young now. The United States has ventured 83 times into different parts of the world to govern because of the things that they're doing. I don't ask any questions about interventions anymore, because just like situationships, it's very wrong to do certain people certain things. You ever heard the phrase, they always hate what they can't control? Tell me if it's not true, especially throughout what's going on in the world. You know what has always made me laugh? Is that companies do their best to make sure they make their overheads. So one smart way of doing that is making sure that your baseline product, you get the cheapest labor and manufacturing costs to produce it. Now, you know why I'm saying that also? Anytime that you have good optics, it creates a very good impression on the people, makes them look good. So if somebody is looking scruffy, they would hide them from the cameras and the negative they're doing. So let me ask you this question. The tall one who is called Big Bird, who have a boyfriend that definitely was charged with murder, attempted murder, and furthermore gave him a job in regional corporation. When was the last time you see any post from her? Yeah, that is one. Two, in regards to what's going on with the same guy I spoke about before who's married to a man. Remember in Carnival, he was thinking it's okay to jump on the police commissioner. When was the last time you see a post from him other than when he went down by somebody and making food with his husband? Yeah. So let me start talking about the brandish ways that they're treating a certain religion now. Now there's a reason I'm saying that. So you're being puppeted so much that Trinidad and Tobago is even noticing. So what's going on right now? I grew up in Bath area. Went to school Rivers, went to school Eldo Blue. And I have nothing but respect for people's religions. Doesn't matter if you're Catholic, Hindu, Baptist, or Muslim. So within that, when you're copying the sentiments of your master, there's many things in the Bible you all don't know about, it would seem. And being a slave is a very interesting thing. But being that some of your staff members who's supposed to be leaders and aides calling people monkeys, that says a lot about how you're thinking. Last time I checked, I'm not an orangutan or a monkey. Yeah. And nobody, I repeat, nobody could control this King Kong. Right. The reason I'm saying that HNIC is a phrase, but trust me, it has none of that available now. Because right now, all I'm seeing in Trinidad and Tobago is lots of division. And just like how you're hearing that diesel, you can tell what they're coming with from a distance. But those who program so well could never understand what's going on. It's just like a biblical sequence. You see Jeremiah, that is one book, but that's also my name. And if God knew me before everything that's transpiring in 2026 and even in the room, just like that dog barking, many of them just being shocked behind the wall and only noise making. So going back to the point that when I was on the live, but they tried to stop, every time you're speaking the truth, they try to put duct tape over your mouth. So making people's lives be covered and segmented is something that they're doing because they don't want the truth to be out there, because some of the lying bastards getting offended. Some of all here, or some of you all, let me say it properly, just to make sure that the monkey slash unkept face guy is very much not misunderstood. If you are not from our nation, if you are capitalizing off of it, if you are actually defeating the purpose of what production is supposed to be, what is the purpose of being in government? Only to promote cronyism, nepotism, and corruption throughout our country. All you're feeling about that. One of the nicest things to see is when you're in a close proximity and the people of the area actually could enjoy themselves in the nighttime without fear of crime and showing no form of divide and conquer in our entire community, meaning that it have no division. Everybody playing the football and nobody saying, hey, look at, or look at, or look at. And I even putting that into the video, that's to tell you how serious it is. And some people missing that point. So when you're paying people to literally segregate others because of ethnicity, too much crazy stuff does happen when you're trying to divide a nation because you want to do hypocrisy. And check this, throughout the history of the world, the United States did many evil things with government assistance, and it's documented after certain presidents passed away and they brought it to the forefront only 45 and sometimes 60 years later. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me go to Malcolm X, let me go to Martin Luther King, let me go to John F. Kennedy, let me go to the Black Messiah. These are 4 instances of government-assisted assassinations. And I just 4. Let's go to Che Guevara. Let's go to the embargo, as in the Cuban embargo, because they hated what was transpiring. But this time, Cuba was the #1 destination spot from since 45 come up. So let's go back even deeper in history now. Let's go to the Berlin Conference, which part England, France, and others decided they was going to rape and pillage and rob Africa for 140 years. And now, let me get to the pinnacle of this video. Which part were you not thinking about? Traoré. Burkina Faso. Notice how much times the media tried to paint him in a negative light. And he brought back his nation, because the resources is what all the European countries really wanted that country in fact I should say for. Now, while they keep on painting him in a negative light, you all try to unalive him more than 17 times. The nation protected him. So what is the nation doing in our own country in regards to people that you're actually seeing robbing, raping and pillaging, and still smiling, embarrassing people and laughing at others who get unalived for political points and to make pandering to the supporters a good thing? These are the things they need to ask yourself. You know how nice it is to not be worried and look over your shoulder in certain places. So think about what I'm saying. In all that I mentioned just now there, Orange Hand Man passed judgment for his minion to do things. And now that she's doing it, are you in shock? How are you feeling if you're a Muslim-owned business and furthermore being financed by somebody who's a Muslim? Now they're getting victimized as of Wednesday, because tonight is Friday. How do you all feel about it? Do you all know how much people truly affected by this economic depression? Do you all really know what is transpiring? Do you all know how it is to not have anything in your cupboard for at least 3 weeks? And some people going through so much stress, some people going through so much stress that the children thinking that the parents are just waste men and women. You all really know what's going on in this country. Not everything in this country is political, but they have made it that way. So imagine the only freedom some people getting is from going to work and not trying to unalive themselves every day. I could tell all these stories that more than 400 people need to do the strangest things to get money to feed their family. And this is not no hearsay. So when you have racist assholes that come in comment sections and when people on lives to disrupt it because they don't like the truth being told, that should show you how weak they are with these type of monkeys. So I don't condone violence in any way. So you see what's going on right now? Do you know what it is to have a revolution? For what it is to go in no fighting against oppression. Oh now. Yo, so you know what really shocking me though? Is the people that lying about what's transpiring in the nation and still trying to protect and telling people hold on, when after nearly 1 entire year there have been a rise in suicides and there's more engagement with degradation and segregation and derogatory actions from a government in power. With that, let that sit on your chest and think about it. Anyway, as usual, Trinidad and Tobago, I love you guys with a passion. So until we see each other again, deuces.